And so we think about jobs and money. Should I buy the house? Should I buy the car? Should I get involved? Should I do this? What's your will, God? I just want to do your will. And so we're kind of confused about it. So I want to correct that a little bit from Romans chapter 1 is, in my opinion, everybody knows the will of the Lord. So that's a big statement, but just stay with me a minute. Everybody here knows, everybody listening from wherever you're from, watching through the cameras, they know the will of God. Everybody always knew the will of God at one time. But what Romans chapter 1 says, they know the Creator God, but then they exchanged it for created things rather than the Creator. They know, and so then they get blind, they get deceived. So everybody knew and knows, but through life, we start exchanging it for things and distractions, things of the world, whatever. And all of a sudden, we're like, we don't know the will of God anymore. And the Bible says in Romans 12 that we're without excuse. Because we could know and we should know, but now we have erased it and complicated it till it's hardly found. And now we want to know the will of God on all the outward things, not understanding what the will of the Lord is. Because if we're transformed by the renewing of our mind, we're supposed to know what the will of the Lord is. So do you know what the will of the Lord is? Of course you do. You blank out because you crowded your life and it's pushed aside and now you're kind of blank on it. Everything else is there except that. Because the will of the Lord for everybody sitting here has nothing to do with who you marry, or what job you take, or what car you buy, or whatever, all these outward things. The will of the Lord is always one thing, and that is, the will of the Lord is you have a heart for God, you love God, you're not unequally yoked with anybody else that doesn't love God, and it's all inward in character, integrity, loyalty, and love. All the will of God you need to know is right here in your heart. Am I in the will of God? Check my heart out. Because if your heart's not right, it doesn't matter who you marry, it doesn't matter where you work, it doesn't matter where you drive, you're not in the will of God. But my experience has been people wrestle with the will of God, but it's almost, I'm just telling you, almost 100% something outward. You know, I don't know whether to take that job. I don't know if I'm supposed to move. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Help me, pray for me that I get the will of God. It's always outward. And I'm trying to say, until you have the will of God inward, I don't care what you do. What difference does it make? If you're out of the will of God in your heart, then do we really want to send you to South America to minister to people?